Welcome to episode 419, Jeff Gundlach, from Brook Drummer to Newborn King. This is an outline of episode 419. There are 3 reasons we study Jeff Gundlach. First, he's the newborn king of the world. Second, he manages $123 billion in 2018. Third, he made billionaire status in less than 10 years. Wow, that was fast. Recap. Who was the old born king? That was Bill Gross. Let us meet Jeff Gundlach.
Our next guest, well, he predicted this move in Treasury yields. Jeffrey Gundlach is the founder and CEO of Doubleline Capital, overseeing $123 billion in assets under management. 6 down days now in a row for the S&P 500.
It's partly about rates. 4 years in a row, basically, that the 30-year Treasury bond was bumping up against resistance at about 3 1/4 before, and it held up at 3 1/4 or so several times, including.
He was born in Amherst, New York in 1959. His ancestor invented Zerox.
I liked math, and so suddenly I turned into a math guy. My father's a chemist. My uncle invented the Xerox copier. He was a physicist.
He's the guy I knew.
My grandfather was.
Greg and Eric were your.
Greg and Eric and Kurt.
Cousins,
yeah, my cousins, and they were all they're in Rochester, and the rest of our family was mostly in the outskirts of Buffalo.
Right.
In 1981, he graduated summa cum laude from Dartmouth College with a degree in philosophy and mathematics. He was admitted to Yale University for a PhD in theoretical mathematics, but after a quarrel with the thesis advisor, he dropped out. He headed out to California to join the LA music scene. As a drummer, he met his future wife, Nancy Draper. By 1985, he was so broke, he used cardboard boxes as tables. Then one day, watching the TV, he saw the lifestyle of the rich and famous. He became the star-born trader of TCW. His fund would rank in the top 1%. He's a picture of TC Tower in LA.
I started, it's evolved over time. I started running what I would call an aggressive fixed income strategy in 1991. And at that time, there was an immense opportunity in an esoteric part of the bond market that we analyzed it to death, and we couldn't come to the conclusion other than that there was no way to make less than about 50% on this trade. It was unbelievable. Those were the good old days.
He correctly predicted the housing crash in 2007. Then in 2009, at the age of 50, he would be fired from TCW. It turned out to be the best thing ever happened to him. A few days after he was fired, Gundlach founded Doubleline Capital. The next year, he divorced his wife of 20 years, Nancy Draper. I'm not able to find the amount of the divorce settlement. In 2011, with a 16.6% return on his bond fund, he was crowned the newborn king by Baron Mac. What is his bond strategy? Jeff Gundlach called it opportunistic income.
When we started Doubleline almost 8 years ago, we wanted that to be one of our key strategies because we started a strategy that we thought would be able to generate pretty high returns while having offsetting risk profiles, because the government bonds that we own, which are agency mortgage-backed securities, they can have a lot of interest rate risk. We thought that since there was still a lot of distress in parts of the credit market, that interest rates rising, thanks to inflation or a better economy, which are the likely suspects, the credit would probably do pretty well. It was still at a distressed price, better economy, inflation, wouldn't have a problem with interest rate risk because the overwhelming macro variable of better fundamentals for these securities would overcompensate for whatever interest rate. We invested in those bonds, and we continue to have a portfolio that's largely mortgage-backed securities. We have done a little bit in asset-backed securities, a little bit in some high-risk muni bonds out of Puerto Rico. And then we have some, a little bit of CMBS, which is outside of the scope of what we started with, and some CLOs, which are securitizations of bank loans. And those things which represent about, I don't know, 60% of the portfolio, 65%. The way we calculate it, the interest rate risk is literally zero.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. My next video will be Jeff Gundlach, 10 lessons. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.